All right, guys, the Celtics advance to round 2. We don't know who they're going to play, but Chris Gasper, what was your biggest takeaway from this series? Some people thought it would be an easy sweep. I said they would.
Good for you.
Take 5 games, and it took 5 games. But what did you take away from the way the Celtics played?
I took away that they learned that they have to play and can play through physicality, and that there's another way for them to win besides jacking up 48 threes a game. I mean, you look at what happened to them in the clinching game of this series. Yeah, they hit threes in the second half, but they only were able to put up 24. For the series, they only averaged 31.2. They were forced to play a different way, and they still dominated the series. So I think that shows them that, okay, on a given night, if we don't have the three-pointer going, there's another way for us to win other than just firing up more threes and saying the math's going to math in the end.
That's what I'm curious to see as they get further and further in this thing is will they continue to think that way and say, let's go back to what we did in Orlando and let's pound it inside. Let's isolate Jayson on the wing and let him go to work. Because in the past, Chris, it goes back to what you said. Well, trust the math. Just keep firing up, keep firing them up, keep firing them up. And if I'm another team, good. If you're not feeling it, keep firing them up.
Well, and that's the one thing, because that's, I think, what stuck out to just about everyone, right? Like, they found a way. I mean, they didn't hit their first three-pointer until the second half yesterday.
Started 1 for 10.
1 for 10. I was going to say, I thought it was 0 for 7. But, yeah, 1 for 10, and they found a way to do it. But that, I think, the way that the Magic played defense forced them to find other ways. And I don't know that any other team can play them, like, defensively, that might make them say, we can't just keep chucking up threes.
OKC.
Except for OKC, who they would say in the finals.
They've been the best team in the NBA this year. You're the reigning champs. It feels like if health stays together, you're headed in that collision course.
All right, well, let's take a look at a Chevrolet Sportsnet Central update. You heard Jayson Tatum earlier talking about playing carefree now that he has won an NBA title. He certainly seems comfortable after missing Game 2 with a wrist injury. Tatum returning with a vengeance, joining Larry Bird as the only Celtics with 3 straight 35-point games in the playoffs. That takes us to Carrying the Load, which is presented by the Chevy Silverado. Tatum's numbers way up from last postseason. He's averaging more than 6 points per game. His field goal percentage is up 2%. Three-point percentage is up 8%. Tatum is 37 for 37 from the free throw line in his last 3 games. Mike Giardi, why do you think he has been so dominant? Do you think it's just that he's more relaxed, which I think is something, by the way, I think a lot of us said that after the finals last year. Like, it'll be really interesting to see what kind of player we get from Jayson Tatum now that he's got that monkey off his back. Or do you think maybe it's Joe Mazzulla's been hard on him, telling him to get up. Like, who cares about the injury? You got to do it anyway, because we've seen him have injuries like this before and not play like this.
I want to spin this to Chris, because I'm wondering if in the last 3 games, we finally got to the part of the program where Jayson Tatum said, screw everybody. Yeah. Screw the people that won't vote for me for MVP and don't think that I'm a whatever. You know, granted, first team All-NBA, but like, I don't get that kind of credit. You don't put me in the conversation as the best player in the league. And do you think maybe there's a chance that he just finally said, you know what? Screw it. I'm not listening to anybody. I'm just going to go out and do my thing, and this is what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that is what happened. I think it was instructive for him, though, to sort of learn the lesson of I don't have to be 100% physically to be effective and to be dominant, because the wrist is obviously painful. It's still bothering him. I thought his performances were really, in a basketball, in a sports sense, heroic the last 3 games, the way that he played. And so for me, for him to realize that, yes, I can go to another level when it comes to mental and physical toughness, which is all that some of us, including his coach, have been asking for, which is, okay, there's a little bit more there from a toughness standpoint, mentally and physically. You know, we didn't necessarily see that in the 2022 NBA Finals against the Warriors. Now, I think he proved, not only, he doesn't have to prove anything to the rest of us, but I think he proved to himself, I don't have to be 100% to be a dominant player and the best player on the court.
You just mentioned, though, you know, we've been asking for is maybe just a little bit more of that mental toughness to see him take his game to the next level. People, and I think including Jayson Tatum, get their feathers really ruffled when you don't, you know, talk about the 50-point game against the Bucks or the 40 against Philly. Yeah, he's always been great in the postseason. Well, but he's been sporadically good in the postseason. So for me, if I'm going to say, wow, he's had 3 great games, Chris, it's pretty fair to be like, he didn't have 3 straight great games. I don't know the last time I can think back in the postseason that is.
So, you know, last postseason he was really good in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I would have voted for him for NBA Finals MVP. But it was a rough start in the first 2 rounds, right? It wasn't as good as it needed to be. And that's the interesting thing, or the frustrating thing, I think, for me when it comes to the Tatum conversation. Top 5 player in the league. He's a great player. But around here, it's if he has 3 games like he just had, he played great. If he shoots 28% from 3 like he did last postseason, well, he's still great. Look at all the other stuff. Or shoots 42%. There are no stakes for him locally. It's just whatever he does is great all the time. And so how are you able to measure when he's taking a step, when he's taking a leap and should be the face of the league? If you were telling me, well, last postseason was great too, and so then when he does this, well, what am I supposed to say? Oh, okay, that wasn't any better than last postseason? Of course it was.
Have we been too hard on him, Giardi?
No, because
I don't know why I just asked Mike Giardi that question.
Yeah, so no, we haven't been because to our point, I think everybody who watched him, he's so super talented that you've always felt like there's that extra step. Take the next step, hadn't taken the step.
All right.
Maybe now it's happening.
All right, so the next step is TBD because we don't know if it'll be the Knicks or Pistons. Do you have a choice or does it not matter?
I think the Pistons thing plays into the Orlando thing. They just, they'll knock you down. And that's, I don't know if you want that, because you probably like a little bit looser and freer with the Knicks and the way they play. And, they like to hang around the three-point line as well. But if it's Detroit again, you just went through a team that does the same thing.
I think, look, when you look at it, I'd rather face the Pistons. I know they're physical. I agree with what you're saying. But they just don't have the offense. You're even seeing with this series with the Knicks. They just do not have consistent offense outside of Cade Cunningham. You'll get a game here from Dennis Schroeder, a game here from Tim Hardaway Jr. There is no way the Pistons offensively can keep up with the Celtics. The Celtics have owned the Knicks. They own them during the regular season because the Knicks can't defend them. But the Knicks can score.
Yeah.
Knicks are a little banged up, though, too, a little bit even more than the Celtics.